Hey viewers, something different today. A car video, not a normal bike video. This is my 2006 Honda Accord, and I need to replace this tail light assembly here. Some of the LEDs in here, there's a couple lines in here that aren't working, and so it's not going to pass the New York State inspection. So I'm going to show you how to replace this. First thing I need to do is take this bumper cover and I'm going to just drop this one side down. If you were going to replace both tail lights, then you would probably just go ahead and just take the whole bumper cover off. But since I'm only going to remove and replace just the one, I should be able to just loosen up the one side and pull it down enough to access the bolts in there. The first part I want to loosen is inside the wheel well, the rear wheel well here. There's some Phillips screws here. There's one here, there's one up here, and I think there might be some behind the mud flap. So I'm going to remove the mud flap first and then see what's behind there. What I'm going to use is a stubby little Phillips screwdriver like this that will allow me to get access these screws here with the tire here. Okay, I removed the 3 screws for the mud flap here, and back over here. And so that leaves this screw here and then this one up here. And I think that's all I need to remove on this side. Okay, and then put these screws in a safe place so you don't lose them. Now I've opened the trunk lid and there's another bolt hidden behind here. So I'm going to use a small flat tip screwdriver to pry open this little cover here. Just pry it out there, and there's the bolt there. This bolt here is a 10mm bolt. So I got my ratchet wrench here and I'm going to loosen this and remove it. And then put it aside, don't lose it. Now underneath the bumper here, there's another little clip here. It's a plastic clip. And I'm going to use a small screwdriver to kind of pry this down and try to unsnap this thing. Okay, with some effort I got this out. What you need to do is this little bottom button here, you kind of pull that down and then that releases the pressure and then this whole thing comes out like this. If it gets real clogged with dirt in there, then it may be difficult to get out. But so just use a small screwdriver to kind of pull this little bottom part down and then pull the whole thing out. So now this is released down here. Okay, I almost have this side of the bumper cover free now. There are some snaps in here. Once I have all the screws and everything like this, I can take this and just kind of pull this out and unsnap it there. And just pull this out and down. Like that. Now if I remove the whole bumper cover, this whole thing would just come right off. But just kind of releasing the one side allows me to get enough access. And there's 2 bolts in here that I can go ahead and reach with a ratchet wrench. So I'm going to get a ratchet wrench with an extension. Okay, the 2 bolts in here, they're 10mm bolts. So I have a 10mm socket with an extension, and I'm going to try to loosen these. And they're a bit rusty in there, so hopefully they're not like frozen. Okay, that one's coming loose. And so there's the bolt there. And let me get the other one here. And then pull that bolt out of there. Now from inside the trunk here, I need to remove the little clips that hold the liner in, so I can pull the liner out here and access the back of the light. I'm seeing one right here. There's like a little, just loosen this little Phillips screw here, and that kind of should allow me to pop that out and see where everything else this kind of just snaps into place here, and pull the little board up here, and then I can access the back of the light here. Well, I'm almost there. There's a couple little wiring harness clips here, and I need to unplug these. There's like a little push thing in here, so push that, and then there's one on the other one here. Push the little thing in and pull it out. Like that. Okay, and then there's four bolts here, or four little nuts holding this thing in, so I need to remove those. Okay, these little nuts appear to be 8mm, so just remove these. Once those nuts are removed and the wiring harness is disconnected, you should be able to just pull this out. And there. So I got this all disconnected now. Okay, I'm ready to start putting this thing back together. I got a new working taillight here. So make sure that this needs to go back behind the bumper cover, so kind of slide that back down there. And then these little screws here need to go in the corresponding holes. So just kind of like line that up. And once you get all those little screws lined up in there, it should just push right into place like that, and it should be nice and flush around the edge of the car. Now I need to put the four little nuts back on these little studs here. So I'll start them off by hand and then tighten them down with the ratchet wrench. Once you have all four nuts tightened onto the little studs, we need to plug back in the wiring harnesses. There are two plugs, and they're different sizes, so they'll only fit in one way. So they snap them in, and they'll only go in one direction too. So snap those in like that. And before you get carried away, putting everything, the bump cover, everything back on, you might check it just to make sure that the lights all work, and they seem to. Now there were the two bolts that went into the bracket underneath here, so I'm going to start these in by hand. Then tighten them with my wrench. Like that. Then to make it a little easier while I was working, I stuck a board in here, just kind of hold this down so I can pull that out of there. Pull this out. Get, you see, or this little bumper needs to go up above this little bracket there like this. Push that in. And then get this all lined up and snap this in like that. Like that. Now I need to put this bolt back in here, and that was a 10mm actually, so start this in by hand. And use the wrench. Like that. And then I can pop the little cover back in over that, just like that. Okay, I get to get this liner all pushed back in like this. And there was a little clip that came out of here. It's basically this little part. It's got like a little, it's like a little molly type bolt, and then there's a little plastic screw. So get the hole lined up in the liner with the hole in the frame there. Push that in, push the little plastic screw in, and then just tighten this down like this. And you see there's a little part that kind of came out of down here. It doesn't really hold anything in there though, but tighten that in. And then this little plastic part here, this just kind of snaps in. There's two little hooks kind of in the back here, and they kind of go in through the liner and then snap in there. So you kind of push it in and then push it down, and these will snap into place like that. Now there was the little clip that I pulled out from underneath the bumper there. Again, this is just two little parts here. So there's this part, push this part in first, and then this part goes inside there and snaps in to lock this into place. Like that. Okay, and now I need to screw put the screws back into the side of the bumper cover here. The first two screws, there was a screw that went up here, and then there was a screw that went in here. First I'll put the screw up there. That had sort of a rounded top here, and the one that went over here had a flat top. So I'll put this one up here first. Get that tightened up into place. Okay, now the next part is I got to take this little plastic flap that came out of here. This little part here goes actually back behind the little bumper cover here, like this. And then this little part here is like a little tab here. This is going to line up behind this hole here. And this little screw here with the flat head is going to go through the hole and go into this part here from behind. And this would be maybe a little tricky. Get that started like that. And I'm not going to fully tighten that quite yet, but I'll tighten it some. Okay, now I need to put this little mud flap part in here. This goes in like this, and there's 3 screws to hold this in. So I'm going to put the one back in here. It's the longer screw. There's 3 screws. There's 2 shorter screws, a longer screw. And I'm going to start this one in back here like this. Kind of just get that in there, kind of hold that in place. I'll take one of the shorter screws, put it right here, and get this started into place. And then take the last screw, and I'm going to get it down in here and get it started. Then using my screwdriver, I'll tighten these all in. And then I can also tighten this flathead screw in right here. Tighten that in all the way. And then double check this screw up here, make sure that's tight. And I need to tighten this one in a little bit more. That should be nice and solid like that. And that is how to replace the tail light assembly on a 2006-2007 Honda Accord. Some other models of Honda Accords, even Civics, are probably pretty similar. Again, if you were to replace both tail light assemblies, you would have gone ahead and removed the whole bumper cover, just remove the same stuff on the other side, the whole thing will drop down and you get easier access to both lights like that. Anyway, hope this helped. I hope you found this interesting. If you did, please click like on my video. I always appreciate getting likes on my videos and it helps me out. If you're interested in subscribing to my channel, I have a lot of bike stuff, some car stuff. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'm uploading videos all the time. And I'm over on Facebook, RJ the Bike Guy. You can go over there and like that page, and I post stuff over there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope this helped.